I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is a smaller big city in the Midwest, very different from New York or LA. I have an older brother who's 4 years older than me, and my father is a tax attorney, and my mother was a homemaker. I was really shy as a kid and didn't really get along with my peers very well. I was made fun of a lot, and somehow that kind of, in order to sort of bring me out of myself, my parents sort of pushed me into acting on the stage. So I was really active in community theater and theater at school and stuff like that. And initially that's what I thought I was going to do with my life, be an actor.
When I go walking, I count the shadows I always have since I was a child. She calls it wisdom, says it's my own.
The first time I knew I wanted to be a musician was after I wrote my first song. But the reason I wrote my first song was because I had heartbreak. I was broken up with, had been really infatuated with the person and just kind of didn't know how to process those feelings.
Out of my head, living out of my mind. Out of my head, living out of my mind. How do you manage?
I met my husband Josh in New York City about 7.5 years ago. We met on New Year's Eve. A few days later, on the 5th of January, I had a gig on the Lower East Side of New York, and a friend brought him, and he was sort of back in the back of the audience, but I noticed him because I'd met him a few days before. And then slowly throughout the course of the show, I watched him kind of move closer and closer and closer. And then after the show, we had a big party at a friend's apartment, which is what I always did back then, not so much anymore. And he just asked me out, and we fell in love really, really quickly, and we've been together 7.5 years. 2006 we got married, not legally, of course, but we had a pastor and 150 people, and my parents and his parents, and so it's a real wedding.
Sure, there was a light, but it burned so close.
My parents are really supportive, yeah. I mean, I think the biggest concern when I came out of the closet, as they say, it's not my favorite term, was just my own happiness. You know, they were concerned that I was going to have a lot of sadness in it. I understand the people that support Prop 8. I mean, it's uncomfortable. You know, it's new. I'm disappointed. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't see how it affects them. You know, if you don't want to marry a man, if you don't believe in gay marriage, then don't marry somebody of the same sex. You know. I think gay marriage is inevitable, whether it's my lifetime or not. I mean, I believe that it's right, and so it'll just happen eventually.
Josh, I'm leaving.
Being a musician's been a pretty intense struggle. It's it's something that in many ways, I think it's a curse. It's a wonderful blessing too, but you know, it's tough. I mean, it's tough on the ego. It's tough of heartbreak, or they're about love, or they're about feeling like a failure, and all of that stuff. And after Prop 8 passed, I sort of wrote my first activist song, and I couldn't believe when it came out of me. So I've got this great song that I'm really trying to race to record and get out there because it's so relevant right now. There's the constant question of is all this worth it? And every once in a while I'll have a moment on stage for a moment
day
creating a
with
song
sunshine in your
where it really
eyes
is worth
and a
it, and
smile
those
that
moments, you know, are
seems to
few and far between,
say
but you just, they keep you, you know, banging your head against the wall over and
it's
over again.
okay.
A year ago, I fully almost gave up. I took a job at a restaurant. I moved my husband and I out here to the valley and started training at this job, and really just kind of got right up to the edge, and thankfully realized that I wasn't done yet. You know, it was a real kind of triumph of the creative spirit, because now I'm really rocking. So.
Miles of water, oceans worrying me when I wake up. It's over my head. It's over my head. It's over my head. The weather of worry